Are you prepared to do this thing?
Ish.
All right. Well, so am I. So set a timer. 1 hour, 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Hour and 30 minutes. 90 minutes.
Hour 30. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you just said 30 minutes. All right.
No way we could get through this crap in half an hour. Are you kidding me? It takes us nearly half an hour to get through the stuff that isn't news. Folks, welcome to the actual 278th episode of Camcast. Listen,
yes.
numbers are hard.
I was going to say, there's been a few times where I'm like, I wonder if he noticed if I'd already changed the date when I started adding or changed the number, already adding stories in. So I was wondering if we were going to have this at some point, like, this isn't actually the right episode number.
I mean, I went through and I counted them once before. I'll do it again. It's not fun.
Start at 200, work your way up. You know, you got the 200 right.
Exactly. Got the 200, got 250. Yeah, I got the big ones out of the way. Anyway.
136th.
Yep. 138th episode spectacular.
138th, yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the 278th episode of the Camcast. I am Mike, dear leader, dog taste, leader of men, herder of cats. Still hanging out in my basement because that's my life now. That is what I do.
It's what I'm doing too.
Yep. He's doing it too. He is the shadowy billionaire himself, Trent from Sandy. Trent Bray.
Ahoy hoy.
Mr. Hustle himself.
Verified.
Damn right. Normally we're joined by Zach, but Zach is still in El Paso and he actually has to get a coworker set up. So that's a thing. That is a thing that is happening.
His loss.
Exactly. He doesn't know what he's missing. We will be joined shortly by the one and only AJ Glassmacher, because that's when we go to the bullpen, he's usually one right there. So that's what we do.
And he's a delight.
He is. He really is. So yeah, eventually AJ will be joining us, but right now it's just me and Trent and whatever Trent's eating. So
today's meal is barbecue pork mac and cheese from Noodles and Company.
I will make a superior version of that.
Yeah, it's pretty delightful, but there's room for improvement for sure.
All right, there we go. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Andrew. Shout out to you for becoming a new patron. Appreciate it. And yeah, so far it's just, we got 4 people watching. If you're out there, feel free to say hi. Just let us know that you're out there. Anyway, follow us on all of the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're at Cam Automag on a lot of them. I tried to gin up something for the NASCAR Roval race at the Daytona Road Course, but it just wasn't happening. It was just weird. Couldn't. So that's why I didn't really put it in the agenda. But anyway, yeah we're at Cam Automag.
I didn't watch it.
You weren't missing much. It's just, yeah. We're at Cam Automag on all the social medias. Find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever Google's doing, Spotify, I don't know, maybe Amazon if I can find enough time to, do some of this back-end stuff, wherever podcasts are peddled. Like, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars. Would really appreciate that. Support us on Patreon like Andrew Jolly did, and a whole bunch of other fine folk. Patreon.com/CamAutomag. Any dollar amount is greatly appreciated in these trying, crazy times, but $5 gets you into the Shenanigans Super Secret Shitposting Facebook group, gets you access to bonus content like this podcast, the live recording of it every Monday evening, and all sorts of other stuff. Nothing like extravagant, but I don't know, occasionally I'll drop some stickers in the mail, or whatever, just whatever. Anyway, patreon.com/CamAutomag. is where you go to help us out. And if you like this sweet, sweet shirt that I am wearing, the Fly Cam Am shirt, or the Cam Classic Script shirt, the long sleeve new logo tee Trent's wearing, it's available over at CamAutoSwag.com, your home for official Cam merch on the old internets there. Yeah, we've got hats, shirts, hoodies, shorts, backpacks, flip-flops. I'm telling you, that backpack is pretty sweet. I've got my.
I actually need to get one of those.
You do. I've been carrying it with me everywhere, so it's weird. But no, I've got one of my film cameras in there, my thick ass Mr. Rogers book, a hardbound notebook, my little Hustle energy canister, the bottle. I got all sorts of stuff in there, and there's still plenty of room for other things.
For
So
room for activities.
indeed. So yeah, get the cam bag at camautoswag.com. While you're out there throwing your money around on the internet, head over to steadybroke.com. They are steady.broke on all the social medias. It's our boy Tommy doing things on the internet, having fun, peddling some really quality, affordable merchandise via Steady Broke. Put a whole bunch of their stuff in your cart. Use coupon code CAMAUTO15 at checkout to save 15% on your entire order. Just because you're broke doesn't mean you can't live your dreams. There we go. We got Luke in the chat. We got Chris Miller pointing out that it is long sleeve shirt on a day where it's almost 100. Listen.
To be fair, Chris, I just came in from having a, I don't know how to describe it, playing in the sprinklers with my kids out in the front yard. So I'm actually kind of cold right now because my basement, the AC blows quite significantly down here. So I have a heater going at the moment too.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That is some level of ridiculousness. Man. Anyway, this Thursday is going to be another iteration of Twitch Thursday, which last week a bunch of people said they were going to join us. Nobody did. So it was just me and Chris playing Forza Horizon 4. Ended up being a pretty good time. We just jumped into some random races, did terribly, did barn finds, and then found a danger sign where the goal was to jump 700 feet or more. Took us a while, but I finally did it.
I have not done the online thing with Forza. I did not realize you could do barn finds in online.
Yeah, because the whole game is just kind of like it's constantly online. So,
True.
Yeah. So there we go. I don't know. We might do that. We might do something different. I don't know. We are giving you people the option to vote on it. So let us know. Give us some suggestions. At this point, it's really kind of anything because things are shaking out. They're getting a bit more normal. So it doesn't have to be exactly car related if we want to do some Destiny stuff or, I don't know.
I'd like to point out some hypocrisy real quick.
Please do.
First of all, Chris Miller saying that, running the AC like money is nothing.
Yeah.
While at the same time, he's going to Bear Lake this week. So,
well, la-dee-da.
Being all fancy on me. And believe me, the rest of the house is quite warm. It's just for whatever reason, the basement gets all the air.
Yeah,
and so
the basement tends to do that.
Yeah.
So, except this basement because there are no registers down here. So, if it's hot outside, it's hot down here. If it's cold outside, it's cold in here. It sucks.
And there's no insulation in your basement.
Nope. Hence the hot if it's hot, cold if it's cold thing.
The section of the basement that I'm in does have insulation. The rest of it, however, not so much.
Does the other part of it still flood on occasion? Or has that been sorted out?
That has been resolved.
Good.
And the funny thing is, it was like two different things that were causing it. They've both been taken care
of. Good. Anyway, we've got some shout outs to do. First, I want to shout out the Shadowy Billionaire for finally bringing the hustle energy to fruition. 3 long years. It has been.
Okay. 3 long years of like actual hard work on this stupid thing. It has not been just 3 years of, I'll work on it a little bit here and there. It's like, it's been ruminating around for 7 years, but it is up for pre-order. And so far the reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Like 99 out of 100 people have loved the taste. And the one person who didn't, I was forewarned, is extremely picky about taste. So,
well,
you can't win them all.
Exactly. And I mean, 99 out of 100. I'll take you. You should take that. Anybody would take that.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it's a focused product. So I'd be really curious to see how people out at the racetrack would like it. There's no caffeine, no sugar, but it does help you focus. Gives you a mild energy boost. But I'm any racers out there that want to give it a whirl, hit me up.
sure, we can put it out there. You know, put the word in the street, get the people out there. Chris, you know what to do. So yeah. Also want to shout out Trent and Luke and some people who are not watching or listening to this for donating to the Extra Life campaign. Appreciate that. Nick Pellant helped out. So yeah, shout out to you guys. I was really only hoping to raise $75 this month, but we are up close to 150, almost doubled it. So
Nice.
thank you guys. Appreciate it. We're actually out there helping the kids in a more immediate fashion. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, I mean, shout out to a friend of the program, Sally Penalty. She had a fun weekend out at Grid Life Horizon or Alpine Festival or whatever it is. Yeah, Turbo died after one of the races, or during one of the or before one of the races. So that was fun. So they had to drive to Denver, get a new turbo for her Civic Si, throw that on. She did all right in that race. Had Tom O'Gorman drive the car. Tomo also drives a TCR Civic Type R in IMSA, so he knows a thing or two about front-wheel drive race cars. Informed her that her car does not, in fact, turn.
Huh.
So they made some adjustments. She started the race in 9th and wound up 5th. So
Wow.
there we go. Yeah. Shout out to Spooky Andy. He was out there drifting. Got some love from Larry Chen and a whole bunch of other people because his FC is super, super fucking sick. So, yeah, and if you don't know, just check out Spooky Andy on Instagram, and you'll see the sauce, see what it's all about. And yeah, I mean, there we go. That's all I can think of. Trent, you want to shout anybody out?
I just want to shout out Dear Leader for keeping this thing running.
As best I can.
Yes.
As best I can. Who thought it would be me trying to keep this thing moving?
And shout out to all of you. There we go.
There
the
it
fans.
is. Yeah. If you're listening to this, you can't see that we're pointing, but we're pointing to you, the listener, the fan.
Feel it through the audio.
Yep. Well, there we go. Well, AJ gets in here, and we wish happy birthday to 3 people: Andrew Chang, Adam Paulson, and David Arlano. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
It's all right. The man, the myth, the legend.
I'm still eating, if that's helpful at all.
I mean, I haven't even started eating yet, so.
Well, I mean, at this point, fuck it, go wild. All right. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, clicked the wrong button.
I was about to say I didn't think he was going to take me up on it, but alas, I was wrong. Anyway, so yeah, you got here just in time. We're going to do the news.
Awesome.
Yes, as best we can, because Trent and I have been busy all damn day.
Hey, look, I just put like 5 things in the agenda already.
You did. You
like a
did.
baller.
Yeah, meanwhile, I was putting stuff in as best I could while dealing with phone calls. So, anyway, let's leap into it. The big news of the day: the Ram TRX has been unveiled in all of its 702 horsepower glory.
Yeah.
And it looks gorgeous.
It
America.
looks awesome. Yeah, it is overall 8 inches wider than the Ram 1500 upon which it is based. So it is.
Yes, I'm glad you hit that, because I was like, that's the thing we need to hit on.
Yeah, no, they even moved the front axle, I think, 20 millimeters forward.
Yes.
So
they could clear those 325 60 18s, I think, or 325 65 18s, something like that.
Something, yeah.
But it's a totally unique tire.
Yeah, it is. This thing is it is here to party.
So and it
The
sounds
bodywork
good.
on it just looks so amazing.
Yeah, it's real aggressive. So I like it. 702.
Honestly, I want that grill.
Right?
It's so sweet. Yeah,
They
700.
put the Wrangler wheels on it. Did you see
did?
that? They put the Jeep Wrangler style wheels.
Yeah, dude, it is awesome. 702 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, backed by that ZF 8-speed automatic gearbox. It'll go 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. So that's
STI levels right there.
That's pretty quick for something this size.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. For reference, the F-150 Raptor makes 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque out of the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, backed by 10-speed auto, and
0 to 60 in like 5.2 for that.
Yeah, so that seems to be a thing. Ford will give you, like, their numbers tend to line up because there just seems to be less of the Ford to move around with whatever engine they stick in there. So,
yeah. I'll say this thing looks a lot larger than the Raptor. That might just be because Dodge's body style seems to be a little bit chunkier.
So, Autoblog had an article where they compare the two on paper, and I mean the Ram is bigger in pretty much every direction. I just pulled it up. Here we go. It is about an inch longer. The Ram is. The wheelbase is actually 9/10 of an inch shorter. The width is an inch and 1.7 inches wider. It is 2.5 inches taller. But then like ground clearance, approach angle, breakover angle, departure angle are all almost exactly the same. Slight edge to the Ram on ground clearance. And then maximum water fording depth is actually exactly the same too, which is interesting. But
interesting.
So what you're telling me is you can haul the whole ass.
Yes, you can.
The whole ass and then some.
And then they actually are within 100 pounds of each other in terms of max towing capacity. However, I have seen Raptors towing close to their capacity, and I mean, it's a soft suspension, so I mean, there's only so much you can do, but that thing squats hard. Like, no matter how much you try and balance out that tongue weight,
that
thing likes to drag the back end.
It'll do. It'll get down.
Yeah.
Well,
Can we take a minute and talk about this gorgeous interior?
Yes, that is, like, it is an awesome looking interior. It feels very fitting for this absolute unit of an off-road runner.
What is crazy to me is they have a console mounted shifter specifically for this model. No other Ram has a console mounted shifter, and they put it on this. I mean, so they had to design a whole center console just for the TRX.
I mean, why wouldn't you? This is like, you're not just attempting to go after just the F-Series. You're going after a very specific F-Series with this thing. So, you know what?
Yeah.
Screw it. We're doing it.
Well, and it's a nice contrast from the Raptors kind of like they had to, not only did they have to make it look aggressive on the outside, they had to remind you that you were in like, you know, a desert runner with like big knobby knobs and
bro, this is a truck, bro.
Yeah, bro, so much truck, bro. With this, it's like, you're still getting like a lot of truck for. I mean, because obviously you're gonna pay more for the TRX, but like,
we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah,
we've got something to talk about that.
I feel like
the same way Mike wants to talk about.
I feel like you're still not skimping. You know,
no, like you are getting a lot of truck, and you're getting a lot of truck for your starting at $71,690, which is about 17 grand more than what the Raptor starts at. But
yes, I think that is BS, because look at any Raptor on the lot right now.
Yeah.
They're going for the mid 80s typically.
Yeah, like, no, if you're getting a Raptor for 54 grand, I'm asking you how many pieces it's coming in. Like, you're not getting a whole ass Raptor ready to go for 54. No. So yeah, I'll take 72 for the Ram TRX. Well, frankly, I like it. I think it looks better than the Raptor. Just maybe it's because I keep seeing every bro with just a regular ass EcoBoost F-150 throw Raptor exterior parts on there, try and flex on me.
Yeah, dudes with the Ford Platinum rolling around with the Raptor grill.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, it doesn't even say Ford on it. It's just got the ovals where the Ford letters would be.
Yeah. You went to eBay, I can tell.
He bought a Raptor off Wish.
That's the biggest problem I have with the TRX is this hood scoop with the lights in it. You're going to be seeing that on all the trucks now, and I think it's just going to look so tacky.
Oh, it's going to be terrible.
The Raptor, it's nicely integrated on the grill. I really like that, but I'm not a fan of the lights in the grill. As Chris Miller put, that Ford grill with the ovals. DOOD.
Dude. I feel like it would have looked a lot better if they'd have put maybe the lights as like clearance lights and then just made the hood scoop like an active hood scoop, or even like a fake active hood scoop.
That would have been nice, but
there's no reason to have the lights right there. But other than that,
yeah. So overwhelmingly positive. We'll nitpick at a couple of things, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like I will say this. So, if you go to the Ford dealership, you're going to be paying, like 80 something for whatever Raptor they've got because, all the bro dudes want them. The top trim TRX Launch Edition, which will not be a limited production truck. So if you really want the Launch Edition, you'll be able to get a Launch Edition whenever the hell it is you want one. That will crest 90 grand. But we'll have every option checked off. So, and special anvil gray paint. So
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, check please.
But it does have some tech which isn't on any other Ram. It has the trailer backup knob, like the Ford has, where it basically backs up the trailer for you because you don't know how to turn the wheel. It's the first Ram that integrates that, so I'm sure that will trickle down.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like this thing is introducing some stuff, but then also every option that you can get on a regular 1500 Ram, you can also slap on this thing. So, but there are some other things like it comes from the factory, 5 skid plates, also optional full length rock rails. So,
ooh,
yeah.
But it does only have a limited slip diff, right, in the rear. It's not a locking diff, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, yeah, I think you're trading a locker for 700 horsepower. I think most people are willing to take that one.
That's a trade I can make.
We forgot to mention the best part.
Oh,
it has launch control.
Well, of course.
Why wouldn't it? Holy shit. All right, folks, there it is. Like the Ram TRX gets the CAM seal of approval.
Stamp that one on there.
There it is.
Motherfucking seal of approval.
Damn straight.
Stamp it.
Alrighty. Well, moving on to something else that's giant and fast. The new Porsche Panamera of some description set a Nürburgring lap time, set a record in a class that I was unaware we were caring about Nürburgring lap times for.
Like Panamera?
Yeah, the Panamera ran a 7:29.81 around the green hell.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yes. It took the executive class lap record. So there's that.
And granted, this is only 6 seconds off the XESV Project 8, which is basically a race car with 4 doors.
Yes.
So pretty impressive to only be 6 seconds off on a 13-mile course. I mean,
that is pretty impressive. However, that Jag is not in the executive class. That is in the mid-range class, which includes the 3 Series and the Giulia.
So what exactly is in the executive class then?
I'm glad you asked, AJ. I'm glad you asked. So, included in the executive class, we have the aforementioned Panamera, the Mercedes AMG GT63S, weird-ass four-door sedan thing that looks goofy no matter what you do to it. Don't tell me any different.
Oh,
I've seen
it looks good. No.
I have a hard... From some angles, it looks really awesome, but then it kind of keeps moving past, and I have to continue looking at it because that is what I do.
I will say this: the CLS looks better, which they look very similar, but they do better things with the CLS. That said, I would still take a GT63 any day of the week.
See, it's got the same problem that the Gen 1 Panamera had, was the back is too sloped to be a sedan, but it's not angle enough to be or sloped enough to be a hatchback, 5-door hatchback.
Gen 1 Panamera admirer right here.
I will gladly find a beat to shit turbo V8 one. I don't care. That'll be the greatest 3 weeks of my life. Then I will leave it abandoned on the side of the road.
They'd have just left the roofline just like 2 or 3 inches farther back and then made the slant just a little bit more angular, then you could call it a 5-door hatch and it would look a lot better.
It would have been amazing. I'm driving the Porsche hatchback. Yes. Other things in the executive class, the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class. So, things not really known for their driving excitement. So, it ran that 729. They didn't tell us exactly which version of the Panamera it is, but odds are it's probably the Turbo S. And,
But is it the Turbo S E-Hybrid or is it the Turbo S?
I think it's probably just the Turbo S.
We'll find
Aren't they
out.
getting rid of the Turbo S?
No, last week they're getting rid of the Turbo and going straight to the Turbo S.
That's right. Okay.
There it is. That's that logic we know and love.
Yes.
Well, there we go, folks. Porsche and a car that we can't really fully grasp, setting a record that nobody really cares about. Anyway, speaking of a car that we can't really grasp, but we can wrap our heads around.
Hey,
oh, what?
You shut up. We can grasp this because I want it, all right?
All right. Well, in new car news, McLaren is debuting an all-electric version of the Senna and chopping the roof off. And this might be the most affordable McLaren you could get your hands on.
That's why I'm gonna buy one.
AJ, really, how much do you think the McLaren Senna Cabrio costs?
$350.
Trent, how much do you think it costs?
I already looked.
Yeah, I'm already looking at it. So
I kind of figured. I was expecting you two to just one of you to make up a more outlandish number than the other one. So
15 million.
Perfect. Well, with a range like that, I don't think we could go wrong. No, it's going to cost you $582. It is also a children's toy.
There we go.
Case in point, McLaren child Lando Norris squeezing into one.
I mean, that Max Verstappen could probably fit in one of those, right?
I mean, shockingly, most current F1 drivers could probably wedge themselves into that thing. It's just, you have like the taller drinks of water, like Daniel Ricciardo. I think Romain Grosjean's a taller fella. And I think those are...
Did you just call him a tall drink of water?
Yep.
Okay.
Daniel Ricciardo is like 6 feet tall, which makes him a giant amongst the paddock.
He's a double gulp right there.
Yep.
The tall part wasn't what I was emphasizing.
Cool drink of water?
Drink of water, yeah.
That's where you're getting... All right, well, listen... Life's been weird. I've just been out here exploring the space, just letting the weirdness hit me. All right.
What happened?
There we go. Yep. So, yeah, there we go.
Comes with the doors.
Hot
the
damn.
billionaire doors. You know, that's what it's all about.
Gotta. So, yeah, it's there you go. $582. At least your child can have a Senna.
Yeah, that's gonna be the biggest cock on the block. Hey, move over, Power Wheels.
Hey, they had a P1 version for a while that was a similar price. So
beep at this, you filthy fucking casual. Well,
all right, maybe I won't get one.
Your son already has the coolest shoes known to man. We don't need him to have this.
He does. Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
Oh, God, no. Okay, we have to go on a tangent real quick. So, as some of you may know, me and Trent are huge Simpsons fans. And some of others of you may know, the Simpsons and Vans are doing a collaboration. So you can get a whole bunch of Simpsons geared shoes. And, well, one of us bought a whole bunch of kicks for their entire family. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it is not I, because a third of my family is not really in the need for footwear right now. So,
for a second, I thought you were going to say that he bought those Fast and the Furious Supra shoes that I posted a while back.
God. Oh, I'd forgotten about those.
Right?
No. So, yeah. Trent's son, his adorable little child, has the coolest... Yep. Look at him.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they are, they're the three-eyed fish.
Blinky.
Come on, focus.
Blinky the three-eyed fish.
I had to add highlights on my Instagram just so I could pull this back up.
Attaboy. But yeah, he's got the Blinky the three-eyed fish shoes, which are unfortunately just a toddler shoe. So tragically, we cannot get those, which is a bummer.
What a shame.
It really is. I wanted a pair. I want a pair real bad. Anyway, so yeah, just imagine that kid with those shoes knowing how dope they are in the little baby McLaren Senna. Like, we don't need that. All right?
Hanging his sippy cup out the window.
Kid.
The drip.
He's got the shades on. He's got his sippy cup hanging out the window. Just
yes.
I'll just randomly bring you an umbrella. What's this for, son? The drip, Dad. It's for the drip.
Can't handle the drip.
It's got a Supreme backpack.
Hey, Trent, when did you give birth to a hype beast?
Why do I hear trap music coming from this bedroom?
Hey, what can I say? We live on the east side of Sandy.
Not the whitest place I've ever been to, but it's close.
It's not Draper.
God, but asshole deep in Draper. God. Anyway. Well, speaking of something that probably would totally fly in Draper, because that's the kind of people that they are, Cadillac and their Super Cruise, they're making it a monthly payment thing, a subscription, if you will.
Yes. The funny thing is, if you look back at the original articles, it's always said this from the beginning, that it would require an active OnStar subscription to be able to keep the Super Cruise, but everybody forgot about it until the trial ran out. And people started getting notices saying, hey, you're going to have to re-up your subscription if you want to keep Super Cruise. And
that's fantastic.
So everybody's like, what? So
just a minute.
Yeah. So GM's giving a free year, an extra free year now. And warning everybody who bought a 2017 model, hey, you're going to run out here soon. So
you maybe want to not throw out the letters from us. We have information for you.
Or yeah, the 2018 model year, something like that. You get 3 years now, basically. And then it's a minimum of $25 a month or $45 a month, depending on your level of OnStar subscription. But it's the future that I'm really not looking forward to, where you have to subscribe to everything. Like, it drives me nuts. I can't buy a version of Photoshop anymore. I have to pay for it every month, kind of thing. If I want Super Cruise, I got to pay for it that month.
Yep. Such is the way that we're going.
Yeah.
Because this...
the craziest one was BMW having the audacity to try and charge for CarPlay. Fortunately, that got taken care of, but they did try.
Well, I mean, come on, that's also possibly the most BMW thing I could have thought of.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. Well, moving on. Well, Land Rover, that iconic British mark, will not be receiving any British bailout money. They tried to get one, and the Queen and her herd of corgis and a bunch of weirdos in wigs said, absolutely not. Your parent company, Tata, has a shit ton of money. So let them pay. Let them pay the bills.
Just proof in the British stereotype of that they really are that cheap.
Yeah, so Land Rover, no surprise, has been having some financial difficulties. And they got a line of credit from Tata, basically got them like $700 million. And then they tried to get some more from the British government because they really need the help right now, and it'll help keep jobs around in the UK. Well, yeah, they said no. Tata.
Yeah, there it is.
I just scrolled too far on the I think it's the Autoblog article, and the first comment is someone at Tata forgot to donate to Boris Johnson.
Posted by Putin Trump 2020.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
The internet the internet is undefeated. Thank you. Good night.
Never ceases to amaze me.
Oh man.
But Tata Steel remains in ongoing and constructive talks with UK government on areas of potential support.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Right. So maybe they'll get some sort of bailout under the table, like they don't have to pay taxes for a short amount of time. I don't know. We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yes, we shall. And speaking of other iconic British marks looking to make leaps and bounds and, I don't know, whatever else, the Rolls-Royce Ghost wants a baby smooth ride.
What's with your segues today, Mike? You're off.
It was...
Usually they're on fire.
Listen, all right, let me tell you, life has been real weird, all right? So it's just been me and my dad all weekend trying to take care of my mom, and it's when you have a support system for like the better part of a month and then it goes away, suddenly things are weird.
About that. Yeah, the boy's gone and the ants are gone now.
Yep. The ants won't be returning until next year. The boy will not be returning for a while because of he has a job and a life and everything. So the weekends are a bit rough, a bit weird. So it's
well, I retract my statement then.
Yeah, thank you. Also, much like you, I'm trying to get a new endeavor off the ground and also try to take care of myself a little bit better. So I've been waking up at 5:30 and, doing some light calisthenics.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. So meanwhile, AJ just shakes his head.
I'm living that morning life, and I hate living that morning life.
It's not, I also have to wake up earlier because I do not wish this upon anyone because it is just fucking awful. But having to change your parents' diaper and then have them immediately say, "Uh-oh." It is just, it's like Groundhog Day, except it's awful. Like there is no, there are redeeming qualities to this, but it's just really, nothing like starting off your day by taking out a Smith's bag that has a shit-filled diaper in it. Nothing really says I'm ready to face the day quite like that. Or in my case, how could you make this any worse? I don't care. I'm just standing in defiance of whatever the world throws at me at this point. So, hence why I'm trying to start a cooking blog. So, there we go.
And it's coming along quite well.
Thank you. Well, we've got some plans coming. So, anyway. Anyway, back to the Rolls-Royce Ghost. It's baby smooth suspension that it's looking for, along with a whole bunch of other stuff that it's getting. Good Lord.
Yeah, so they are, it's going to look very similar, but it's getting what Rolls-Royce calls a planar suspension. It has an upper wishbone damper that's been 3 years in development that's placed above the front suspension.
Okay.
The automaker didn't go into details, but the damper unit is said to provide an improvement on the brand's hallmark magic carpet ride and dynamic abilities.
So when I hit a peasant, I'm not going to feel it.
Correct.
Good.
And it will help you avoid the peasant with their flag bearer camera system that monitors the road surface to prepare the suspension, which the Mercedes S-Class has had for a couple of years now. And then the third trick, which has been used on the Phantom prior to this, is the transmission is tied to the GPS data. And so it's pre-selects the optimum gear for the turn that you're coming up to, or the hill that you're going to go up or down. It reads the GPS data and then pre-selects that so you don't have that jerk as you're going up the hill to basically make this the smoothest vehicle around, because you know it's going to be at least
signed into Google for it to work, though.
Yep.
Or you can use Waze and then it just shouts at you instead of actually fixing the suspension. But the thing you will have to deal with is when it loses connection in the middle of, somewhere where you would expect it to have connection. And
Middle of Hertfordshire.
The transmission is just going to be stuck in second because the GPS is going to be connecting with the little Google circles.
Just give you the pinwheel.
Yep.
Spoken like someone who deals with broken electronics all day.
Hey. Also, it will be getting all-wheel drive standard and rear wheel steering. Not sure how that's going to make it cushy, but I don't know. I guess if you're trying to run away from, the torch-bearing proletariat, you need to be able to get the hell out of there in any condition.
When you're running from the Albanian Rozzers.
There it is.
But it's gonna go on sale next year, but the debut was pushed back by something. I don't know.
The clown attack. Sure, whatever. That works.
That was a couple years ago, Mike.
Blame it on the murder hornets.
Remember those 2 weeks when we were terrified of those? And now we just don't care?
Well, the new one now is those cannibal ants.
Who gives a shit? I remember Moby Dick. Man defeats nature. That's how it works, right?
I've seen Jaws.
Man's hubris will always take us to victory lane, baby. That's how it works. And speaking of man's hubris, GM and FCA keep suing each other.
Yeah, but
somebody, a voice of reason, has thrown the case out.
Yeah, judge basically threw out GM's lawsuit against FCA because it's all too circumstantial. It's all speculative. There's no real concrete evidence. And even if it did happen that the FCA was bribing UAW officials, there is not enough evidence to prove it. And so the judge said, good riddance, and GM says they won't stand for it. They're going to go to the next circuit of appeals to try and get this case heard out.
We have hearsay and conjecture. Those are kinds of evidence.
Yeah, wild accusations.
We do
And
have wild
speculation.
accusations.
Your Honor, I'd like to recall all of my surprise witnesses.
Each one more surprising than the last.
Just give me the fat twins on the mopeds and we're good.
Yeah, it's interesting, but you know what? In today's day and age, wild accusations represent fact now.
Mhm.
So we'll see
Yeah.
where it goes from here.
Yep.
Is,
Well,
is GM's attorney the giant space hyper chicken?
just a simple country chicken, Your Honor.
We are finger licked.
No, it's actually Lionel Hutz.
Lionel Hutz.
He sounds like a giant chicken.
All right. Well, finally, Subaru, their roadmap through 2023 has been leaked, and
What?
we have some things to talk about.
Yes.
The next gen BRZ at the end of 2021, assuming we survive. God help us.
We will survive.
And
They
they've
will be
painted it like one of those magic eye posters where if you have to look really close to it and then unfocus your eyes and then something comes out at you.
The schooner.
It's a rocket ship.
It's not a scooter, it's a sailboat. Anyway. So
Luke Dreyer, I want to see Peter Griffin fight a giant chicken in this lawsuit.
all right.
Can we please?
We can make this happen.
Yeah. Anyway, so end of 2021, we'll bring a new WRX, and they're saying it's going to further separate itself from the Impreza and be more of a standalone model rather than an Impreza WRX.
There.
Because the Impreza, has a completely different buyers group than the WRX does. So if they can, tailor the Impreza to one crowd and tailor the WRX to another crowd, and then more power to them.
And those crowds are vaping dude bros and
Their
vaping
girlfriends.
lesbians.
Okay, so speaking of vaping dude bros, I went to the mall this past weekend to get said vans that we talked about earlier. And I walk out, and there is a Focus ST and a Fiesta ST parked right in front of the doors in a no parking zone, motors running, and the dudes both have their shirts off, vaping, hanging out, and they have like screwed on fender flares with rotas, and
Gavin
and a friend were aggressively defending their territory.
That's what Gavin was up to.
It was like none of the accessories they added on had been painted or like properly attached. They were like watching there's something dangling off the Fiesta that they were trying to figure out.
Your thing is dragging.
Yeah. I mean, my wife was like, wow, that is impressive, their audacity. And I'm like, yeah, and they think they are the coolest people on earth. Like,
Man, remember man's hubris that I was talking about before? Here we
are. Harry Potter and the audacity of these these dicks.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
But yeah, anyway, 2022 will bring a new STI.
Hooray!
Yay!
And I typed mid-cycle update and didn't finish it. But the Forester will have a mid-cycle update. Yeah, somewhere in that time, spring 2021. And then also in 2022, we get our first EV Subaru. That's all the slide says, is just EV.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yes.
Can't tell you how excited I am for that.
You should be.
Just look at me, Trent. Just look at me.
You're so excited. I have not seen that much excitement before you in a long time.
If you could only feel these nipples. Anyway. So, because we totally didn't forget and or get too busy with our lives and the things therein. Yes.
We need to have a rage off right now, apparently.
Oh,
since we didn't do a shenanigans question, AJ and I have been talking that we need to finish our discussion without Zach interrupting us. So,
I know what you're talking about.
I was going to say, you better know what I'm talking about, because you were the one who suggested this.
I did indeed.
So a while back, we had a discussion about how pop-up headlights are the worst idea in the world. And but we decided it was the case. But AJ just won't take a loss, and be like a man and move on to the next thing.
I believe the group decided in the poll that Mike posted. You glorious people decided.
No, that's not the way I remember it. I reject your reality and accept and substitute my own.
Attaboy.
I can't say it right. There we go.
Nailed it. Yeah, so this is between you two. I scarcely remember what the hell is going on.
Trent,
do you not remember the whole pop-up headlight thing about?
I barely remember last week's episode. The only thing I remember was Zach having a stroke, and that's because I wrote down Gorgon Gurgi, and Gurgi.
Gorgon Gurgi.
Yeah, no, I wrote down a bunch of stuff. So that's all I really remember about last week's episode. Like, as soon as I write the description for the episode, done. I don't remember what happened.
Leaves the mind.
I believe the summary of the previous version of this argument was I was a little too drunk to form coherent thoughts. Trent was in the middle of having an aneurysm, and Zach was playing Donut Media's pop-up headlight songs and screaming gibberish.
So just a typical recording then. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not.
God,
this could be episode 160, or it could be episode 203, or it could be episode 244. It's all the same. It all runs together.
We are breaking the mold by creating our own mold.
We're breaking the mold just by throwing the clay on the ground and walking away.
All right. So there's basically two arguments: aesthetics, which is subjective, and aerodynamics, which is not subjective. And so basically, I win the non-subjective argument, and then subjective is 50-50 shot. So by default, no pop-up headlights wins. Done.
I will throw this out there. The one, the only, the greatest Miata ever made, Paul Mitchell, winner of many a race because it is somehow magic like the Bluesmobile. Listen, I'm not going to say I've seen them do this before, but it has been bandied about that they would hit the headlights, bring them up as sort of an air brake. So, listen, down the front straight might not be great, but if you put those things down and then as soon as you hit that number 3 brake marker, flip them up, helps you out just a hair.
I wonder just how much drag the pop-ups would produce if you could mathematically quantify that.
Todd Green figured it out.
I was gonna say somebody has.
Yes, because they data log everything, even though Paul Mitchell's a piece of shit. I remember one enduro, they pulled it into the garage, and I'm like, well, what happened? And somebody produced half a camshaft.
Oh,
they ran a half of an endurance race with a camshaft being held together by hopes and dreams, and then it finally let go.
Jesus Christ. So what you're saying is on the new McLaren, the air brake on the back will come up and then the headlights will come up.
Yep, there it is. Equally distributing the force between the two. But yeah, no, yeah, Todd figured it out because they data log everything. Because even though Paul is a pile, it still has all of the fancy data logging stuff. So yeah, like he figured out exactly like how much slower Paul is with the headlights up on the front straight compared to with the headlights down. And it was something like they were taking 9 miles an hour off.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tiny car, huge headlights. So
I mean, but the air brake thing, that's pretty genius.
I mean, it is genius.
Put that in your aerodynamics argument and suck it, Trent.
Although I will say,
so it is so inefficient at aerodynamics that it slows you down. Okay.
when deployed properly.
Tell me how this is against me. Okay.
Though I will say, with Paul, they elected to just cut a big long hole in the front bumper and put a giant LED light bar in there instead of just dealing with the headlights. So Paul's headlights, while still
wait,
still
what
there.
You're saying is they thought the headlights were so inefficient they cut a hole in it and put a light bar in. Okay.
I think they were really more afraid that the headlights would fail, like come time to turn them on. So I think it was really they were just hedging their bets here, because while Paul is reliable,
so we were supposed to have a rage argument here, AJ, but really, I don't feel like you're coming up with anything. So I mean,
oh my gosh, well, because you knocked my one argument, which is aesthetics and the joy of some of us who like feeling like we like pretending like we're starting the space shuttle when we turn our cars on. that satisfaction of hitting that switch and watching those little headlights come up.
You would like driving an S2000 because you have to still stick the key in and turn it and then press the start button. You know, you got to have the whole rigmarole to go through.
I flip switches that I don't even need to flip just to pretend that I'm starting up like the space shuttle. Like for realsies though, when I worked
Radio
with Justin,
6,
your Saab
4,
obsession
5.
is making so much more sense now.
So I used to work with Justin. I delivered plumbing parts, and we had a F350 with the auxiliary switches in the bottom of the console, and they weren't hooked up to anything. But I'd get in and put the key in and like flip the switches up and then turn the key.
Oh wow,
Jesus.
So, and I mean, like, I think it's Carlos Lago has that LS swapped S chassis, and he's got the wink mod on it. So you flip a switch, and one of the headlights goes down and comes back up.
So you mean it's broken like a lot of S13s?
No, but it's done properly. It does it on purpose.
It's done intentionally. Yes, it's intentionally broken. Got it.
There it is.
Go on. Hey, you know what? Maybe that could help your aerodynamic argument. Is it's so inefficient that if you want to make a turn and your car's not properly set up, you just flip one headlight. One headlight goes up to help break you into the turn and rotate that one side. Yeah. Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, they could put them on like little servo motors, because you know how like the modern cars have like the directional headlights. Put them on little servos, and then they can swivel like as you're going into the corner. They'll like poke out and like with the corner.
Oh my god! Just like a car coming out of the alley. Just turn the wheel. Just got the shifty eye look. Miata, what did you do back there?
Goes cross.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a reliability is also an issue with the pop-ups. I mean, just you've got one more moving part, and then also changing
if reliability
bulbs.
if reliability was an argument, though, then nobody would buy Fords. Let's be real here. There are people who are willing to overlook reliability to have the drip.
Wow. Well then.
I find some unreliability to be charming. So
Plenty of people buy Ferraris because they want it to look good. They don't care how well it runs. I mean,
it's true.
While I mean, Trent, you would agree that Ferrari is one of the highest performance manufacturers, or the most generic performance manufacturer. And people would still put pop-ups or people would still buy Ferraris because they care more about how good it looks and less about how well it performs. So people would sacrifice performance for pop-ups. So even your argument's out the door.
I think they buy those cars in spite of the pop-ups. Because, like, what's the best looking Testarossa? The 512M that doesn't have the pop-up headlights.
Well, okay.
Yeah. See.
But you admitted last time that the lazy eyes look really good.
Yeah, the sleepy eyes are tight. You can't do that with a modern car.
The sleepy eyes are okay. I give them a pass.
Yeah, like if you want to give your car some sort of like look like that, you're just out there with vinyl, just cutting stuff up and slapping it on your headlights like a moron.
And that does not work. No,
it doesn't. You just look like a tool.
Yeah, like a C5 Corvette with like delete pop-up deletes. I support that. I think it looks fantastic. Second gen NSX. Well, I guess NA2, whatever. So still technically first gen. The last couple of years, whatever. When they got rid of the pop-ups, good looking vehicle right there.
Yeah, but I mean, have you seen Omar's though? This is an early NA1 with the pop-ups, and it's pretty dope.
I mean, it's okay, but is it as cool as an 05? No.
I mean, we'll agree to disagree there. I like it. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's an awful vehicle. I'm just saying that it would look better without pop-ups.
You wouldn't have that iconic scene in Initial D when the pop-ups come up on the Corolla.
Yeah.
Like you just have lights turn on.
Yeah, come on.
Tell me where the pizzazz is in there, in that.
Like, how could you properly deliver tofu in 11?
Excuse me.
I win.
Well, this obviously was not done
without pop-ups.
Trent is allergic to our bullshit. That's what that sneeze was.
I was going to say it is not very politically correct in 2020 because no place is open at midnight because we all know the virus transmits more frequently at nighttime. So all the restaurants and things have to close down early for takeout. So
hey, but you know what? If you had pop-ups, the headlights would be safe and secured during the day. And when they came up, you wouldn't have to disinfect them so much because they'd be covered. They're self-masking. Mask your headlights, Trent. You heathen.
Okay.
I'm sick of you anti-headlight maskers.
Luke in the chat says MR2 over the MRS Spider. Why? Because pop-up headlights.
This guy gets it.
I mean, both
honestly, if they didn't come out with a turbo motor in the MR2, nobody would care about that car anymore. I mean, it's cool looking. Don't get me wrong. I love the look of it. It's a decent car, but that's the only reason people are romantic about it because it had a turbo in a time when turbos weren't on everything. So prove me wrong.
It was turbo in a time when turbo mattered.
Yes.
What about like the old Dodge headlights where the shields came up?
Oh yeah.
Right? And the Camaros had those too, and then there was the one on like the Mercury where it was like it would like clamshell open.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like there were
listen, there that Trent? Really...
Are you saying we went away from style when we stopped designing letting individuals design cars like we did back in the good old days?
It was a different time then. I mean, they did things for style purposes on that alone. It wasn't a trend, like pop-ups were just a trend. Let's do something different for different sake. It's like, let's try and be edgy.
Pop-ups existed because you were doing way too much coke, playing around with cat, and you couldn't. The idea of a flush-mounted headlight just never crossed your mind.
Yeah,
because you were way
let's
too
try
busy.
80s electronics. Let's give that a try. See if they can pop up our headlights for us.
You were way too busy just talking about starting up a restaurant with the 3 dudes in your office. As you were up for 3 days, just licking your teeth.
Yeah.
Again, tell me I'm wrong.
I was born in 85, so I can't tell you you're wrong. Because
Yeah. Anyway, well,
Trent popped out. You guys got a dime bag?
Hey, I don't need that. I got the hustle. Right
there it is.
You go.
Yeah.
Just as long as it's not Power Thirst.
What?
Power Thirst? Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. Go later on. I'll send you guys a link. It's this really funny college humor video, but it's
Okay.
it's a spoof on like energy drinks.
Yeah. All right. I'm
really,
down.
It's really funny.
All right. Well,
I will take notes.
there it is. So if you want to weigh in on this, the greatest discussion of our time, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
You made it too easy on me there.
I thought I had more. Going for me, and then I just
destroyed you. That's all right.
This is going to be that argument that we just get to like when we're bored. It never goes away. It just.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you both had more. Thought a little bit.
Well, he made it too easy. I could have kept going, but it just was.
But whatever. If you want to weigh in on this, mailbag at camautomag.com or just shoot us a message on the social medias at camautomag on the lot of them. All right. Well, do we want to jump into the TDC or do you want me to just blow through racing real quick?
What TDC do we got going on today?
Oh, it's the 2006 edition, the S2000, the Pontiac Solstice, the non-GXP version,
yes.
and the NC Miata.
I think I already have one for this.
Right. Well, there we go. So I'm just going to run through some racing real quick. Everybody hates the Circuit de Catalunya, which is where Formula One does their testing and where Formula One raced this weekend. Surprise, surprise. The Mercedes dominated the podium. They were first and third. And then 2 Mercedes-powered customer cars that are identical to last year's championship-winning car came in 4th and 5th. So Max Verstappen broke up the podium party by coming in second, after telling his engineers that, hey, why don't we focus on our race and let Mercedes worry about their race?
Damn.
Yeah. So, there it is. Let's see. Over in the land of failure, a.k.a. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc retired because his car just randomly shut off in the last chicane, locked the rear axle, and spun him around. As he was trying to restart it, he undid his seatbelts to lean forward. Car got started, and then he immediately told the pit wall that, hey, I should probably come in because I'm not buckled in.
Oops.
He then retired shortly thereafter, leaving Ferrari with one opportunity to salvage some points.
How'd that go?
It rested upon the shoulders of 4-time world champion and the only competent strategist at Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel, who earlier asked what he should be doing with his tires and got no response, so he just pushed because, he wants to score points. So then the engineers came on, hey, what do you think about going to the end on these tires? He's like, fuck, I asked you about this earlier and you didn't tell me anything. So I've been pushing for 3 laps. So he's just like, I'll tell you what. What do I need to do to not lose? And they told him, he's like, all right. It was terrible. He finished in the points. And, my God in heaven. It was a boring race. Nothing, aside from Charles spinning and then retiring, nothing really weird happened. So there we go. Although they will be returning to Turkey for some more racing because they're running out of places to go. So we're going to be going to Herman Tilke's arguably greatest track design. And Pirelli is already afraid because there are several flat high G turns, and Pirelli already has a problem with tire degradation as is. So they're a bit terrified. But whatever. So, yeah, there's that. Let's see. We had Indy 500 qualifying this weekend because on the 23rd, we will be seeing the 104th iteration of the greatest spectacle in motorsports, or whatever number it is. It's not 104th, but whatever. Marco Andretti claimed the first pole for the Andretti family since Mario took it 33 years ago. Yep. I am very curious to see how God chooses to smite the Andretti family this time around, because it is always fun. Marco was the last driver out, and he beat Scott Dixon, who was on provisional pole on his last lap. So for those who don't know, Indy 500 qualifying is a 4-lap speed average. So, you go out 4 laps, hammer down, see what you can do. Marco went out there and averaged 231.068 miles per hour, and Scott Dixon averaged 231.051 miles an hour. So, and this is essentially on a flat track. I have been on the banking in turn 1. 9 degrees is not a lot of banking. And they're doing 230 into this thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'd have better luck if they were in slot cars.
Right? So, just a reminder, no Andretti has won the 500-mile race since Mario won it in 1969. The Andretti curse is very real because people have had opportunities to do it. It has not happened. And there was no grand and vast conspiracy against Michael Andretti when he was trying Formula One. It was because he chose to live in America and commute to Europe for races instead of living there and actually doing testing and things, which is why Mika Hakkinen ended up taking his seat. So,
good old Mika Hakkinen.
Yeah. So it was just hilarious that everybody was just like, McLaren just didn't want an American in there. It's like, no, this dude's here. Like, he's actually doing stuff. You're fucking off and doing kart races. So whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go. That is the racing news. Also, NASCAR ran at the Daytona road course for the first time in ever. They were afraid of the brakes exploding going into turn 1, so they had to put a really awkward second bus stop right before pit in. It was very awkward looking. It was terrible. I hated it. I even said so on Twitter. Anyway,
just let them run the brakes. Let them run the brakes so they explode. It'll give the spectators something to watch.
So that's why, like, the ARCA and like lower tier NASCAR dudes, when they run out here at UMC, they will only run like the east track or the west track because they are afraid if they run like the full track with the full front straight, by turn 3 their brakes will explode and it will just be like shitty Luminas just careening across and into the Armco several hundred yards past the turn. And I, for one, am here for that kind of chaos.
I mean, nothing you're saying is sounding like a bad idea to me.
Right?
It sounds like something I would tune into.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But whatever. Who are we but race fans? There we go. All right. So we have a Trek Daily Crush 2006 edition, which is the Honda S2000, the Pontiac Solstice non-GXP, and the NC Miata. I feel as though we all have some opinions. The internet also had some opinions, but first let's go around the Zoom room, figure out where we stand on this. Which will we
Even though I came up with this question, I don't know where I stand on this, honestly.
I know exactly where I stand on this.
I got this one as soon as Mike said it.
Yeah, like I'm
okay.
AJ, you go.
I am going. So, my fiance Amanda does have an NC Miata, and while it is fun to drive, it is not fun to drive for very long.
Okay.
The seating position and the pedal position just wears me out. It might just be me, but it's her too. So I'm gonna race the Miata because you can enjoy it for the small amount of time that it is enjoyable, and then you can drive the S2K home comfortably and watch the Pontiac Solstice get turned into a cube.
Yeah. All right, Trent, have you formed an opinion, or should I go?
I have not. You go, but I like that Amanda perked right up when you started talking about her car. I noticed she was there the whole time, and then all of a sudden it was like, "What?"
I mean, I'd hope she'd perk up when you mentioned like her or her things. It'd be a little weird if she just fell asleep right then and there. But anyway, no. So I am going to track the S2000 because every S2000 I have seen out on the track looks like it's a riotous good time. Plus, it is an excuse to have it just live where it needs to, up at the upper end of the rev range. Then I am going to daily the NC, which is arguably the most comfortable version of the Miata we've gotten, even though it can still be kind of hardcore. And then, we are driving excitement into the dumpster with the Pontiac Solstice.
You win just for that comment right there.
I need these victories, baby. I need them.
You know what? I love the NC Miata. I really do. Like,
I love them too, except not when people are trying to sell them for like 12 grand.
I think that's somewhat reasonable because, yes, there are cheaper ones out there, but
it is somewhat reasonable. But Nick Pellet, I swear to God, was selling his NC clean title with a set of work VSXXs on it for under 10.
Yeah, I know somebody. I mean, it was a little bit higher mileage, but was selling theirs for like 7.
We got hers for
clean title.
75, I think, clean title.
Where are the cheap Miatas when I want to buy a Miata?
Salt Lake.
Are they now? Because that's where I am, and they never seem to be there.
Or come out here and get one from Tennessee because they're all over the fucking place out here.
Jesus,
and it's all NCs. There's literally on the daily I see at least one NC, and it's a different one every time.
Well, all right then. Guess heading to Tennessee, the land of NCs and barbecue, and I don't know, whatever else.
Whiskey or yeah.
Something, whatever. More good times.
Whiskey and moonshine.
Yay. All right, Trent.
Mike, if you come, you can do a moonshine tasting with us.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Don't you dare.
Be blind by the end of it.
It passed the first test. I didn't go blind.
I'm sorry, Trent, you had one?
What was that, Homer?
All right, Trent, what do you got?
I'm stalling. Honestly, there's a reputation now around S2000s at the track because they're relatively inexpensive, and it's not necessarily a good reputation.
Oh,
they're the like if you don't follow Bay Area Nady NADY on Instagram, you should, because he is a McLaren P1 owner who tracks his P1 like consistently.
Right.
He has a 720S. He did have a Senna and sold it, and then he has a 458 Speciale. But he like tracks all his cars, and he shows you what it's like to track those cars, and it's a good time. But a lot of his stories are about how awful S2000 drivers are on the track. All these cars are going to have this issue of their low torque, so you've got to rev them out and keep them, high in the rev range through the corners, and you ruin your momentum. Well, then you're screwed on that lap. So with that in mind, I think since it's a 2006, it's the AP2, so it's got the 2.2 liter. So I'm going to daily that.
All right.
Because I've dailied an S2000 before and quite enjoyed it. And then it gets down to the track. And
please say you're going to track the Solstice. Please say you're going to track the Solstice.
I think I'm going to track the Solstice just to be different.
I am here for this.
So you're going to be different until I get into some of the internet stuff, and then you're going to realize that you're not exactly on an island by yourself. You're out there with a bunch of other weirdos.
All right. Well, then in that case, I'm going to track the Odyssey.
All right. There it is.
Option D.
Right.
All right. What do we got out on the interwebs?
So, let's see. We've got Mauricio AZV. He says on Instagram, track the S2000, daily the Solstice, and sadly crush a Miata. And Send Scoobs says, track Miata, daily Solstice, crush the S2000 only because I don't fit in the S2K. I adore it otherwise. Track Miata because daily Solstice because it's a GM, so it's probably comfier than either. So that's over on at Cam Automag on Instagram. Over on Facebook, Chris Miller, the one and only, he says, daily the S2000, track the Miata in Spec Miata. Didn't necessarily notice that we were talking about the NC, which was not eligible for Spec Miata yet. But either way, he's still going to track the Mazda, and then he's going to crush the Solstice. So
As you should.
Yep.
No. They look good, all right. Honestly, it's a good looking car. I'll give it that. Everything else about it.
Are we talking about the same car?
Yeah. Wait, which car are you
Pontiac
talking
Solstice.
about? No.
That was the Transformer that got ripped in half in the first Transformers.
That's the one that ruined the good name of Jazz, who was a Porsche 935 in the animated series.
Yeah.
But then as soon as Michael Bay got his grubby fingers on things, they turned him into a Solstice and got him ripped in half.
Yeah, I still think the Solstice is a good looking vehicle.
Okay, well, we all have those opinions.
Trent, have you been tested for COVID? Because they say that one of the symptoms is a lack of taste, and you like the Solstice, and you don't like pop-up headlights. So
3-point line, swish.
You're 2-0, buddy.
Or 0 for 2.
You're 0 for 2.
There it is.
You're on your second strike, is what I was trying to say.
I have not been tested. I'm sorry.
God. Anyway, back to the denizens of the internet who like our stuff. Ryan Betts says, track the S2000. You don't want that absurdly peaky motor on your daily grind. Daily the Miata, dead reliable, everyday fun on the street is what it has always been about. And crush the Solstice. It's a General Motors product. Help it fulfill its destiny. And Andrew Jolly, is pretty much what he was going to say. So there we go. And our man of many things, Brandon Kuhn, track the S2000, daily the NC, especially if it's the hardtop, and crush the disappointment from the excitement division. Yep. Let's see. We put this in a few other places. So let's see on my personal page where things tend to get real fun real quick. Let's see. Brandon McConkey refused to make a decision. He said, God dang, this might be the toughest one yet. One is the clear choice for both the track and the daily. I don't really care to do anything with the other two.
Miata is always the answer.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ben Allred says the NC can obviously both track with success and daily comfortably, so you're trying to decide between the S2000 and the Saturn. Referring to Brandon McConkey. Yeah, so, okay. I don't have a picture of a Pontiac Solstice. The closest I have is Skitch Bryant's Saturn Sky.
It's basically the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's got that weird chameleon plastic dip on it. That was just doing like HPDE stuff, despite him saying that it was a race car and he was a race car driver.
The only difference is the Saturn doesn't have the giant Pontiac nostrils just out of place stuck to the front bumper.
This is very true.
Still like them.
Anyway,
I'm telling you, Trent, like a taste, get tested. Hey, you're old enough that you're in the high risk percentile, dude. So like, I'm helping you out.
What? How old do you think we are?
That makes me want to pull out a Gavin line, all right?
God damn. Like, how much lead is in the water in that backwoods shithole you're living in? God. Anyway, Brent Cheney says Miata always Miata, and also keep the S2000. So there we go. And Dan Chelinsky, we had to explain that it was not going to be the red line. And if it was going to, he was going to track the S2000, daily the red line, or the GXP in this case, and then I guess crush the Miata. Let's see. Bradley Hartbigson says S2000 can go right in the trash. Ain't Karen. Miata did it better, and so did the Redline / GXP, except we weren't talking about that. And then he says, if you're not talking about the best version, you're wasting your time. So I don't know. Why are you throwing
our time?
Yeah, and why are you throwing the best Miata in the trash? That's my question, Brad. Because we all know the S2000 is the superior Miata. It light, rear-wheel drive, 4-cylinder roadster. It did everything the Miata could do except better.
So actually, there was a kid in my squadron in Hawaii who had an S2K, and he went through 3 motors, and they all did the exact same thing. Was he shot a piston out of the side of the block because he over-revved it?
Oh, well, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah. Like, it's an S2000, not an RX-7. It'll rev high, but not that high.
Just bouncing it off that. He drove it like a 350Z guy, just rev limiter every single shift.
Oh, sweet Jesus. That is not what we're looking for. That is, man. Anyway, back to the people. Jamal Taylor, the Saturn can relieve itself of its Ecotech, then go in the trash. Daily the Miata, track the S2000. Dave Kazarian, daily the Miata, take the Honda S2000 to race, or the Honda 2000 to Race Wars. Shoot up the Pontiac Saturn like it was Jesse's dad's Jetta.
Too soon.
Too soon. Let's see. Joey, crush the Miata because there's enough of them driving around. No one's going to miss it. Track the S2000 because I want to go fast. Daily the Saturn because I can take it to Cars and Coffee, and maybe some Chevy guys will stroke my ego.
You're stroking something.
It's just, I told you it was whatever. Just, apparently I need to get a picture of, if we do another Track Daily Crush, I just need to find just stock photos of these things. Because the fact that I put a picture of the Saturn was just throwing people. Anyway, Nick Pellet, Smash Saturn, Daily NC, Track AP2. Chance Hales doesn't fit in any of them, so he says they can all go. And Ben Allred, track the S2000, daily the Miata, crush the Saturn. I'll admit the Saturn is the only one of these I haven't driven, but I've daily driven an NC, and it's great. And I've driven a couple S2000s in the past with gusto, the perks of being a lot tech at a Honda dealership years ago. Let's see, NASA Utah enthusiasts. Matt Hurlbert, I would track the S2000, daily the Miata, crush the Pontiac, and Casey Barrett has 2 of these 3 things in his shop right now. He's got 2 S2000s and most of an NC Miata.
Most of an NC Miata.
He's got a lot of NC Miata in there.
Where's the rest of it?
I don't know, in boxes. It's around. Let's see. In the Utah Association of Euros, Josh
it's in the trash, AJ.
Hey. Josh Tim first points out that it is a Saturn Sky, and then I had to explain to him, I don't have the Pontiac picture. Anyway, he says, track the Honda, daily the Mazda, crush the Pontiac. In Drift, Utah, Jordan likes to point out that I haven't. He says, remember when you covered drifting? I remember. And then, yeah.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, I was about to say
Brad,
that.
His brother Brad posted Pepperidge Farm remembers. So, yep. Those Collier boys. Anyway, in Motoring United, the bottom of the barrel, where we found AJ.
What?
Richard Paris says, track the S2000, totally not biased, daily the Miata, crush the Solstice. Casey Covello, track the Miata, daily the Solstice, and daily the S2000, because fuck the rules. Let's see. Logan Cheatham, track the Solstice, daily the S2000, crush the Miata. I asked for an explanation. He says Solstice for track because it is not very common and seems like a reasonable platform. daily the S2000, reliable and would be fun to daily. Crush the Miata because they're small, light, overhyped, and there's plenty to go around. It makes sense except for the Solstice not being a very common platform and therefore being a good thing to take to the track. Actually, that's terrible. There's a reason you see so many things like Corvettes and Mustangs and Miatas and Porsches and, you know, a lot of the same thing out at the track.
Because they work.
Yeah, they work. And if you break something, those 33 other dudes with Miatas, they probably have a spare for you. So, you know.
Hey, if you've seen Motoring United, the
this is
Facebook group,
true.
You understand that when you're out tracking your car in your Solstice, you're going to come across a Chevy Cobalt out there racing too. And you know what? You can interchange parts, I'm sure, somehow, some way with that. So there you go.
There it is. Anyway, let's see.
Motoring United inside joke for those who did not get that. So.
I unfollowed the group a while ago.
It's quick becoming a dumpster fire.
Well, like anything out there, including this.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true.
Anyway, Addison Walt says, track the S2000, daily the Solstice, crush the Miata. And finally, Justin Hedrick says, daily the S2000, track the Solstice, and crush the Miata because I can't fit in them in the first place. And we have a late entry from the one, the only, our drunk Uncle Chirp. He says, crush the Miata, daily the S2000, and track the Mallet. And he is talking about the Pontiac Solstice that you could get with an LS2. Yep.
Ooh.
That was an option. You could order it from the factory. GM would send it to Mallet Performance, and they would put the engine in.
LS2 is that? Which one is that one?
I believe that was the 6-liter.
Oh, out of the GTO.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Okay, so that changes things.
But no, I mean, it's not for the purposes.
It's bending the rules.
I mean,
yeah. It does, but yeah.
I mean, we're gonna let Chirp get away with it because it's Chirp. But I mean, yeah, no, like it's for the purposes of our conversation, no, it was base Sky/Solstice S2000 NC Miata. So
because as I pointed out to Dan Chalinsky when he asked if the Redline edition was available, I said there's way too much torque to make this a fair competition if you include the Redline edition. So that would further apply to a LS swapped Solstice.
Which, fun fact, the Turbo Solstice and the Mallet swapped one, they probably have the exact same Redline, which is comically low for a small little roadster. Yeah, I looked at a bunch of dyno charts just because I was real curious about the Solstice GXP.
Mm-hmm.
They all stop at like 6,300 RPM.
That's it?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, a big block Mopar revs to 65 at least.
Yeah. It's just like they were... That Ecotech, man, like, that was a hell of a tractor motor. Not necessarily sure I wanted it in something fun, but whatever.
I just imagine hearing what sounds like a GTO coming up and then just seeing a Solstice go flying by.
Jesus Christ. Be fucking terrifying.
It would be fantastic.
It would be something for sure. All right, folks. Well, we have hit the end of the episode. So thank you all for joining us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Luke, Chris, Andrew, Zach, who was here for 2 seconds, Jackson, who was here for 2 seconds. You know, we appreciate
did we get Jackson's? Did we get Jackson's track daily crush?
Jackson's track daily crush. Yeah, he did. Let's see. Jackson said, daily the S2000 already did 10 of 10 would crash again. Track the Saturn Sky Redline because the interior isn't as garbage as the Solstice, and crush the Miata. Yet again, somebody who did not grasp the core concept of what we were talking about. So, but whatever. He says, thank you, goodbye, and don't stop doing what you're doing. So there it is. All right. So anyway, yeah. Shout out to chat. Appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who threw an answer at us. It is greatly appreciated. We love hearing you, hearing your opinions, garbage as though they may be.
Huh.
Listen, I'm like 6'1", 6'2", damn near 3 bills, and I can fit in an S2000. Like, not with the factory seats, but I'm not fitting in an NC with the factory seats either. So, regardless, it's gonna have to be an aftermarket seat for your boy. So just throwing that out there. But whatever. Anyway, AJ.
Did Mike just cut out for everybody else?
Yeah. I heard AJ, and then
I was like waiting for him to say something,
and I purposely froze. I went, and I just stayed because I'm like, did he freeze? Did I freeze? What's going on?
Yeah, I thought I lost connection because both of you froze, and I was like, oh no. I'm out here in the cold, but
the great thing is he's the one in control of this thing. So like I can't shut this down. We're just we're
oh my god.
Mike just texted the power flickered off.
Oh, those damn brownouts.
We're not in California. Hey, I've been given control of the meeting apparently. I can sit I'm the host now.
Close us out then, Trent.
Oh boy, where was he? Something about AJ.
Something about me, yeah. Thank you for me for coming on, I guess. Or something.
Yeah, thanks AJ for coming on. Where
Absolutely.
can we find more about you?
Energetic as I usually am. You can find
me. You weren't as drunk as you usually are.
Well, no, and right before I kind of had a long work day, and right before we got here, I was helping a friend put a pool liner in, so that took a lot out of me.
Oh yeah.
But Instagram if you want to see pictures of my car and my dog. I am just _another_ drummer. Everywhere else, I'm AJ Glassmocker or Off the Wall 518. Find me on PSN. Come play with me.
Perfect. You can find this fine resource of knowledge that you didn't really need on social media at Cam Auto Mag on a lot of them. Most active on Instagram and Facebook. Occasionally Mike goes on Twitter when he's feeling spicy and wants to just rage about all things racing. So follow him there at Cam Auto Mag as well. Follow this podcast, subscribe, like, rate, review, hit the bell for the notifications, whatever you got to do for your podcast of choice. We are on all of them, really. So if you've found a podcast of ours somewhere, we are there regularly. Don't forget our Patreon. You can get access to this live stream every week. We do one live stream a month publicly, but for the Patreon people who we are so grateful for, you get to see our lovely faces every week, and sometimes AJ's face, or you get to see Zach's stroke happen live, which is always fun. And then don't forget to check out CamAutoSwag.com for all of our awesome merch, like this long sleeve tee that I am wearing. And then when you're done at Cam Auto Swag, hit up Steady Broke, Cam Auto 15 in the coupon code box, and you've got yourself 15% off your entire order. And of course, don't forget Twitch Thursdays, where Mike presumably plays games with you guys if you show up. Chris Miller, thank you for showing up and making sure Mike feels welcome. But I know you're not going to be there this week, but that means it's ample opportunity for somebody else to jump in there. So go make Mike feel warm and fuzzy inside by joining him and playing games. It sounds like a no-brainer to me, honestly, if I didn't have kids. So
or just get spicy in the chat, because that's always fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm usually there being belligerent if I'm not also playing.
You do like to be belligerent on occasion.
It is so much fun when I have the energy for it.
Well, thank you, AJ, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this podcast. If you've made it this far, you're pretty awesome in my book. So, we hope to catch you all on the next one. And until next time, I've been Trent.
I've been AJ.
And somewhere out there has been Mike, the deer leader, dealing with a power outage in Midvale, apparently. So, all All right. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.